Today on the show, I will be talking with Dennis Parker from the Certified Hypnotherapy Training School.
And then what will I be doing?
I don't know.
Oh, I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to talk about the legislature, just wrapped up just a couple weeks ago. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about financial tips to help you get a great start in life. All that coming up right here on Talk 365. I'm Trip Mitchell.
Holly Love. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Mr. Trip Mitchell, thanks for joining me today.
I'm looking forward to it. I have a lot to talk to you about.
I have a lot of questions because, okay, let's just dive right in. You were a political science major in a former life.
In a former life, and the Utah legislature, they get together and try not to screw up the state. And this year so good news is increased budget 7%.
Okay.
As you know, Utah is close to last in per pupil spending on public education. Always something important with me. Environmentally, a couple steps forward, a couple steps back. You know, but one of the things, quality of life wise, I remember a couple of years ago looking at a paper when I was down in Vegas, and I thought it was Beijing, it was Salt Lake City during January Inversion Month.
Oh my gosh, that's why I sound like this. This is where I got it. It started out as allergies, moved in from like the crazy amount of inversion constantly, you know, to not sleeping in pneumonia, but you know, clean air would help.
Clean air would help a lot. So the good news is the legislature now we're going to have emission controls, which is smart. On the bad side, took away tax credits for solar. And, you know, yeah, they did. And that's really unfortunate. On the bad side, I think, and this is one that's very controversial, Utah will now have the lowest DUI threshold of any state in the country, 0.05.
That's what I was going to ask you about.
Well,
I mean, everybody's talking about that. 0.05 for me is like nothing.
One drink.
And you're toast.
Yeah, they say 2, but it really is 1.
Yeah.
So, in essence, drunk driving, horrible, you know, mothers
life-ruining kind of a situation.
But tourism, hospitality, you had a business up in Park City for a lot of years, and Park City
depend on these people coming to our state and wanting to be here and have a good time.
Brian I used to work down there, and one year the controlling faction down there decided to run a sting, and they succeeded in closing all the bars. Well, what did that do to tourism? If 90% of your tourism come from Vegas, it can kill economically. So obviously we want to do everything to control drunk driving. Uber and Lyft have done a lot. You know, I know a lot of friends who will go out and never drive. Smart move, but 0.05, a little scary. The other thing that the legislature tried to do was get rid of the Zion curtain. So naturally they screwed it up worse.
That's what I heard.
So
Rodney, our Pabst Blue Ribbon guy, came over and was like, this is the worst.
It's just inconceivable how they could screw it up worse than they did. But there's going to be a little bit more money for education. You know, it's super important. Good news, $1 billion bond for highway improvement.
Okay.
The bad news is it's coinciding while we're doing that huge airport project.
Okay.
So construction costs are much higher. It's kind of not a great time. The best phrase is you spend money when things are down, you save when things are good. Right now things are good in Utah, but to combine $1 billion in road work while the airport is going through that amazing transformation. So, you know, as in all things, Greg Hughes is a friend of the show, the Speaker of the House, most powerful guy in the state of Utah. Congratulations, you got through a session, but...
what is it they call it at midnight? What happens? They have to say? The phrase? It's like some Italian...
You know, I don't know that. That's something I
don't...
You know that.
You know what I'm talking about though, right?
I don't.
Okay, well, we'll look it up over the break because I thought you would. It was some like Italian or Latin phrase that they have to say right at midnight.
Well, you know what we say at midnight? Arrivederci. That's Italian, but it's close enough to Latin. I took Latin in Catholic school, of all things, so I've forgotten all of it.
Don't go anywhere. We'll look it up and we'll give it back to you when we get back right after this. It's something. They were talking about it on the radio. Hold on.